Most of us know what it's like to have to fight our own demons. But what if one day you came to find that you were not only responsible for your own, but those that had been left behind by others? And what if these demons that had been left behind by others were actual physical manifestations of pain and trauma that someone experienced at some point in their lives that caused such a rift that you had to fight them physically? This is the reality for Hazel Flood in South of Midnight, and for you as the player. Now, last you heard from me, I said that the creatures that we fight when you play South of Midnight, the Haints, were direct reflections of the pain and trauma we were about to encounter as we played the game. Now, without any spoilers, I did want to talk about how this was done by Compulsion Games and the way in which it's illustrated so that you can really understand what it is you're up against when it comes to being a human being and dealing with pain and dealing with trauma. Now, without giving away too much of the story, a haint is what happens when there is damage to the grand tapestry of life, and the damage that occurs tends to be great sorrow experienced by humans. That is the most common haint that we find in-game, the Ravager. Now, to ravage, by definition, means to cause great damage or destruction to something, and that's exactly not only what these little guys do, but what they represent. Now, Ravagers attack Hazel through series of slashes and scratches, which is a perfect example of how the tapestry is damaged in the first place. The journey begins with us meeting these Ravager Haints, but over time they continue to build upon themselves and become something bigger and more damaging, just like a lot of what we deal with as people emotionally. Just as Hazel is torn away from her mother, from her future, the life that she knows she's stepping into, these creatures tear their way through Prospero. Not only are Ravager Haints the very first ones that we come across in-game, they are the only ones that follow us from start to finish. So they are the most common haint, but they're also an example of the most common pains that we deal with on a day-to-day basis as human beings. Small things that harm us can come with us for the rest of our lives, or in this case, Hazel's journey. Oftentimes in life, we find that pain and trauma are actually just a buildup of emotions and experiences over time. Damage is damage. Doesn't matter how small. If you have a loose thread in your sweater and it's not addressed, your entire sweater can unravel, which is why the damage that these haints cause to the grand tapestry is technically the most damaging that you will find. One of the main themes of South of Midnight is how our lives can be torn asunder, oftentimes by things that are out of our control, and that's exactly what Ravager Haints represent. Now, this is a spoiler-free explanation of Ravager Haints. Next, we're going to talk about Larva Haints.